All right, welcome back, everyone, to another edition of American Soccer Break. Coming to you quickly again this week because we had the midweek U.S. soccer games. I have Rahi, I have Roy. How's everyone doing?
Fantastic. We're talking soccer. It's my favorite part of the day, favorite part of the week. Let's do this.
Roy's back in the States. I'm happy about it.
He was on a little Japanese adventure, so he's back. So let's kick it off with the women. This was the start of the NWSL season. It's kicked off, and it'll actually run through the Women's World Cup. In fact, it doesn't take a break for that. So my first question is, how important is a good NWSL start specifically for the U.S. women's national team players? Let's kick it off there and go from there.
Yeah, so it's exciting that the league is kicked off. It was a fun opening weekend, I think, for sure. But to your question, I don't think it's important at all. I don't think how these players perform for their clubs is particularly important because we've seen what the U.S. players can do, how talented they are. And their role is a bit different, I think, with this league. It's more about growing the popularity of the league. It's sort of what Landon Donovan did for the MLS. I think that's the role that they have to take on. And I think their form is less pivotal. You saw it in the opening weekend, the teams that stood out, Portland Thorns stood out. That's Christine Sinclair. She's 39, looked fantastic, but she's always looked fantastic. Alex Morgan's team, San Diego Waves, they beat the Chicago Red Stars, who have Mel Swanson. Both scored a goal, but I mean, we know what they can do, really, right? Is this really a pivotal barometer? Are they going to grow into form during this opening, few weeks and months of the season? I'm not sure.
Rocky, I'm sorry, buddy, but I completely disagree. My goodness. Listen, there's 4 months left until the World Cup. The World Cup is in July. There's 23 spots. How do we pick these 23 spots? Club form. Sure, you get the same names. You get the Alex Morgan, you get et cetera, et cetera. But you got a bunch of exciting young players in NWSL.
Trinity Rodman.
Yeah, she's excellent. She's excellent.
She's good.
She's very young. Good. And that's someone that could be on the roster. You got the other player. I really like her. Plays for San Diego Wave. Naomi Girma.
Yeah.
Again, another player that these players, if they come and burst on the scene and they play well these next 3 months, they're going to be on that plane to New Zealand. They're going to be playing for the U.S. women's national team, the best national team in the world, and they're going to become stars because that's how these players become stars. And in a World Cup year, for NWSL to be sending 3, 4, 18, 19, 20-year-olds to the World Cup and they go and start for the women's national team and they win the World Cup, how massive is that for the league? How massive is that for these players? This is huge.
It's big,
but of course it matters.
Girma's already a starter, right? I mean, we already know that. We already know a lot about who's going to be on this team. Yeah, there's a couple spots down the wing. To your point, Trinity Rodman, is it Crystal Dunn? There's some places where there's some movement. Sophia Smith. But we know a lot of the answers to the questions you're posing. Yeah, we can round out the roster, but for me, is it important for how the U.S. performs at the World Cup? I don't think so. Performance is going to go with these stars and the main players, and they just have to continue to be the form that they are in and the quality that we know they have.
Yeah, it's a little tough because all they have left is just the friendlies against Ireland next week, and then after that, the next time you'll see the national team all together is during the World Cup. So, is a strong performance enough for the coach to take some of these new players? I don't know. We'll just have to see. But watch NWSL closely. I think there's a lot we can learn in the next few months and go from there. All right, switching over to the men's side of it. Interestingly enough, the conversation that dominated the airwaves and all that was actually taking place off the field, and it has to do with Flo Balogun. I guess for those who don't know, Roy, why don't you just give a little tale on who this guy is?
Yeah, and let's be real. The conversation off the field was much more exciting than the conversation on the field with that 1-0 win against El Salvador.
What a performance.
Oh, God. Jeez Louise. So, Balogun. Let me just give you a little bit of background on Balogun. Balogun joined Arsenal when he was 8, and he was scouted from his Sunday League team. Let that hit you for a second. This is a separate topic we'll talk about later. but he was scouted from a Sunday League team. Imagine an AYSO player getting scouted by an MLS team and then going on to be a league leader in League One in France. That is the problem in this country. There's no path to pro that is strong enough to produce these players. Anyways, before trialing with Arsenal, he was trialing with Tottenham. They nearly signed him. So this is a guy that was in big, big demand across Europe. And now he is the third leading goal scorer in France, behind a guy we know very well, Kylian Mbappe, who's number one, and another guy we know very well, or at least we should have, Jonathan David of Canada. So this guy is a star. This guy is a killer. He makes phenomenal runs behind the defense. He's a goal scorer. He's a finisher. And he's something that the U.S. has not had, I'm willing to say, ever. We could argue that Dempsey was a great forward. We could argue that Donovan was a great forward. We could argue Altidore was good for a while. But this guy is several steps above all of them. And we have a chance to lock him down at age 21, 3 years before a World Cup. This is effing huge. And we're not making a big enough deal out of it, at least in wider media sports landscape. This is what we've been asking for. We have a chance to get a star on the U.S. men's national team. This needs to be top news, LA Times Sports, New York Times Sports, the whole works. This is massive.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going to say.
he's got to commit first before the headlines.
Sure.
Yeah. So just a quick background to add to that. So Balogun was invited by the U.S. national team into sort of Orlando, and he did this whole tour of go to the cool spots, go see the Yankees game, and go see the Magic game, I think. And
Yeah.
So he's doing a lot of fun stuff. Let's get down to it. Rahi, where's he going? Where's he committing to?
Oh, he's coming here. He's gonna wear that jersey that Roy is wearing right now. He's committing to the U.S. That's my thought. Add a little more context to what happened. The England called him up this window to the U21 team. Gareth Southgate didn't call him up, and he posted a very cryptic message on his social media. In this life, be easy, go where you're appreciated, which to me means come here, come to the U.S.
I love that.
He's young. He's not willing to wait. There's a limited pathway for him to get to play significant minutes for England. Harry Kane's there for multiple years now. There's multiple players ahead of him. But the bigger thing is he came to the U.S. and he got the star treatment. He got a real recruitment trip. He was at the Magic game. They gave him a jersey. At the Yankees game, they gave him a jersey. That's what we have that no one else has. We have the culture, the spotlight, the swag. That's what he's looking for. And this was a pure recruitment trip, and it was showing off all that we can offer him. And we're not stodgy England. You don't have to sit behind multiple players and earn your way. And we don't have sort of all these traditions and history. And we're new, we're different, we're fresh.
Yeah, where's he going? Where's he going?
Listen, he came here. He had a great time with his buddies. He met a couple of the Yankee boys. And at the end of the day, he took a meeting with the English FA. When is that meeting? Is it this week? No, it's next week.
Yeah, but just to clarify, it's with the under 21 coach.
I understand
not Gareth Southgate. So
I understand that, but seeing that he was going to meet with the under 21 coach, he should have said no to that meeting. That should have been the last straw, saying, you know what? If you're not going to send Southgate, I'm done. This is it. Last straw. But he's taking that meeting. He wants to hear him out.
They're just sending him to France.
I don't know. I think something in the back of my mind is telling me he is using the U.S. and the interest the U.S. has in him to get the English Federation to take him seriously. That is a sneaking suspicion in my mind. I don't think he's going to pick England this year. I think he's going to draw this out a lot further until he could see, okay, I'm not going to get a full English cap before this World Cup. Then I'll commit to the U.S. That's my prediction here. I think he's going to be undecided for quite a while longer.
See, the danger with doing that is then you come off, let's see, next season, he doesn't have as good of a season. And then let's say like both teams are kind of like, the U.S. look, we'll still.
But that's exactly goals in Moana.
No, but that's the point. How can you do much better than he's done? And the problem is he's playing in France, not England. So they're weighing the Premier League goals versus the League One goals, right?
He gets the golden boot. He gets the
Sorry?
golden boot.
Yeah, no, but he's playing as well as you can. So for him not to get a call up now, for him in his mind, and I'm not in his mind, but there's got to be thinking, what else can I do?
He's about to find out in that meeting, right? That's why they're
If
meeting.
I'm not even getting a call up, what else can I do? It's going to take me so long. I have to go back to England. I have to then play for Arsenal, do the same thing at Arsenal. And then I get called up and then I sit behind Harry Kane. I mean, for him, it's probably a lack of respect. And I think I can see that.
We're all hoping he commits here. And let's real quickly finish off. Let's say he does not, right? we got to go to this other situation. Who's looking good? Like, who do we got? Like, we just saw the national team play 2 games. Who's looking good?
Pepe's looking good. Pepe also plays for a relegation-bound Dutch team. So for Pepe to really cement that spot, he's going to have to make a move. Apparently, PSV in the Netherlands is interesting. That's one of the top teams in the Netherlands. They're often in the Champions League. If he makes that move and continues that form, it's Pepe. I think he doesn't strike fear, but he's sneaky good.
Ricardo Pepe is the reason he's on the conversation is because his ceiling is high. You're right. He doesn't strike fear into anybody right now, but he has a bit of the motivation. He has some of the intangibles. Look, he's pretty clean on the ball. His layoff play is quite good. And in the last game, he comes in for what? His first touch is a goal. He's in for what? A minute, 2 minutes and scores. That's some kind of intangible quality. And the other one is Josh Sargent. I still like Josh Sargent because I think he has the biggest. Those two have the highest ceilings, but they're not Flo.
Yeah, and I think on that note, let's all put out those good vibes and hope that Balogun commits this week. And we'll track that. We'll track a lot of soccer that's happening, this weekend and through the week. And go USA as always.
Go USA.